Head off this. Oh! Alright. Testing. Can I get a testicles?
Penis.
Yep, there it is. Not technically a testicles, but, you know, close enough.
That's tickles.
Yeah, it tickles my testes. Anyways, welcome to the Anime Therapy Podcast, episode 19. And also welcome our special sushi guest, Sushidude, aka Adrian. You will see him in an upcoming video that we and another person all did together. That'll be coming out soon. Adrian, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. It's almost like we were all just hanging out and talking already.
Yeah, man. I already took over the Just Barely Alive fan club.
Yeah. With all the subs.
You can find that at u.gg.
People would know that we were just hanging out if you were subscribed to twitch.tv/justbarelyalive.
That's true. Yeah. You could have seen
had notifications on.
Yeah.
That he goes live.
There were 2 more
sporadically,
subs
but
today.
he goes live.
3 more subs today. We're getting those sub numbers up, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I like this new thing where if you want to talk shit on me, you have to sub. You know, it's really helping the brand. Also, I'm just now realizing that I need to get a W4 or W2 or whatever from Twitch because I have been paid by them last year for taxes purposes.
Oh, you have till October.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's weird. My mom was telling me, she was like, "Oh, well, they pushed it till like October." I'm like, I thought it was like at the end of February that you had to get it done.
Nah, April 15th is normally tax day, so.
Yeah, accountants are just getting body slammed from backup from COVID, so they're like, please, we need help.
It's funny because my mom is an accountant. She's a private accountant, so that's probably why she knew about it.
Yeah, she is.
All right, listen. Already starting off with regret. So we typically talk about anime here, and I would like to get into anime with you. But real quick, I will say the Crunchyroll Awards, Anime Awards, has come out. We are going to be covering them next week, just because we have, you know, a guest on here. Don't really want to take away from him. And whoa,
My camera just fell over.
a Titan just walked by and just rumbled.
Dude, freaking Armin, man. Why did he have to go all colossal on us?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. It's like, save this guy or save this bitch boy. You know, which of the two blondes was gonna survive. So Adrian, how about we start with probably my favorite part, which is to talk about the origins of anime with you. What was the first anime that you watched? And you can exclude things like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, which will probably leave Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, like first anime you watched where you're like, this is anime.
I mean, when we were younger, anime wasn't like I didn't know it was really a genre. It's just like cartoons are on Saturday, you know? You wake up, you go to your TV, turn on whatever Kids WB, and whatever cartoons would be on. I think that was my introduction to both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! At that point. And, you know, my sister watched Sailor Moon, so I watched a decent amount of Sailor Moon. Waifu.
You heard it here. His first anime was Sailor Moon.
So if we're not counting that age, I would say in college, I started branching out. I liked a lot of South Park and stuff like that. I was kind of watching more cartoons, if we're gonna put them in that category. And then, I don't know how I got onto Naruto, but I think all of a sudden someone just had told me about it, or I saw it. I can't remember. And I think that was kind of my first. And I didn't know that animes were supposed to be long like that. Well, not supposed to be, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into until I was 3 episodes in. I'm like, holy shit, there's like a gazillion episodes.
Yeah.
So that was the introduction, and then actually I branched out very quickly from there, I would say.
Yeah. You saw one sexy jutsu and you're like, oh, okay, I'm into it.
That I was definitely into it.
Subscribe.
Actually, what's really funny is I think I was 12 or 13 years old. This is kind of a segue into some of my favorite animes. But I was in Greece on vacation, and turned on the TV, and I couldn't understand Greek or anything, so I was just kind of like trying to find something to watch, and One Piece came on, which had all of the Greek voice actors and stuff like that. So actually, my first introduction to One Piece was in Greece, and I didn't realize it until I found One Piece on, maybe it was like Netflix or Crunchyroll or something. I can't remember how I stumbled upon it again. But then after I found it again, I was like, oh no shit, I've seen this before. It was just like a long time ago in a foreign country. I didn't think we'd be getting this stuff in the States.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I would say that I actually kind of really liked One Piece when I first saw it. Right, yeah, maybe that's part of the reason that I like it, but because maybe a nostalgia factor in there.
Mm-hmm.
But
probably the feeling of like thinking that it was super unique because you saw it in a foreign country, and then once you realized that it wasn't, it was like your experience with One Piece had to be very different from everybody else's starting experience for One Piece, especially as English speakers in America. Like, no, I don't think anybody here was like, oh yeah, so I was in Portugal and I saw One Piece for the first time in Portuguese. You know, I don't think that's very common. So I think that's very cool. Very cool.
like they had some channels on the Greek channels, you know, when you're in Europe or whatever, that, you know, when cycling through, they're like, oh, we don't have any type of XYZ entertainment in America. And, you know, soccer in the States is not exactly something that you can find on TV. Even now, kind of hard to find it. And so...
you have a subscription to Disney Plus and Hulu.
I just remember seeing a whole bunch of different soccer teams playing like every day. That was what was on the TV for the most part. And we also went during the Olympics one year, and the Olympics were just on the TV everywhere. I was there when they won the Euro Cup. Greece won the Euro Cup, which
Oh, wow.
I don't think that'll ever happen again. We'll see. But I was in Greece when that happened, and I've never seen like a more... I'm sure if I was in another country that cared more about soccer than Greece, maybe a bigger country, it'd be more lit. But it was lit, dude. There was just like, there's gunshots going off everywhere. There's fucking firecrackers. Like, they were just... I had never heard the whole city started erupting as soon as they won. I could hear it all around the neighborhood. And we're not even like... We're like outside of Athens. We're like, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes outside of Athens. I could hear it coming from like way over there. It was insane.
Well, Matt, I don't know about you, but I'm realizing how ignorant I am. I didn't think that there were guns in Greece.
What the hell? I mean, you hear about a lot of them because we're in America.
Right,
But
right.
there's guns everywhere, dude.
I didn't think, oh yeah, Greece, guns, right? That just
You think there's still Spartans like over there, just like with their
kind of
spears and shields, just going, ooh, ooh.
Is it wrong of me to assume that? Like, I definitely thought they were still, kicking people off cliffs. I don't know. Capital punishment there, just get kicked off of a cliff.
Dude, that part of the 300 when they're like, Spartans, what is your profession? They go, oh, oh, oh. That's like my favorite part of that movie.
Dude,
And
I haven't seen that movie since I was probably in 6th grade, which is not the age that you should be watching that movie, but I remember
that's
my brothers being like, oh, this movie's so good, and like I went to a friend's house and his parents were watching it, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And later realized I went home and I felt guilty because I'd seen a rated R movie without my parents knowing.
you felt bad about that shit, dude?
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
That's why I'm a Ravenclaw, dude.
I would have been like, fuck yeah, let's go. Whose parents were these? They're chill.
It was actually funny. His parents, a kid also in 6th grade, his parents were like 60 years old. They were old as fuck.
No fucks given then.
Yeah. Well,
I'd be the same way.
I would say maybe his dad was 60. His mom was probably like 40.
22. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're making babies at 60, so. Anyway, so talking about anime, so you'd say like the first time that you watched anime and you were like, this is anime, that you like, it was Naruto, somewhat recently in your life, more so than Pokemon.
Probably 2010. Yeah, I knew they were Japanese cartoons growing up, but I didn't know it was called anime. The term really wasn't as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah,
You
but
said you
Naruto
had
for sure.
you said you had branched out really quickly after Naruto, though. Was your branching out just out of a general curiosity for the medium, or were you like, this thing's a
Yeah.
little too overwhelming. I need to find something that's a little
Yeah,
more short
that's a
form.
good
No, dude, I
question. Yeah.
binged it. I mean, like every night before I'd fall to bed, just like have the screen next to me, watching whatever Naruto episode. Since there's so many, it was actually a nice routine because I knew what I was gonna get every night. Kind of, you know,
Yeah.
it varies, whatever. But so I'm that type of person. When I watch something like, you know, like One Piece, you know, once I found out about it again, I went from the first season. I just kept going until I got current, which
Dude,
took probably
that's-
like 2 years.
That's like my favorite. I think that's why I like Shonen so much, was because of exactly what you said. It was very routinely. There was enough to watch where like you don't just sit down and watch it in a day or in a weekend or in a week. It's like, okay, throughout my daily life, right? I go to work or I go to school and then I get home and then, you know, do homework or whatever, hang out with friends, and then you relax and you're like, I know I have this show to watch and there's more of the story versus, all right, what's new? What new story do I have to then get immersed in, where you're already in the story of these long running shonens, which I think is why I like them so much, starting off in anime, because I started mainly with shonen. I started with Naruto, and then I branched out a little bit genre wise, but I was like, once I was caught up with Naruto, it's like, okay, Bleach, another long running thing to get in that routine of just watching a few episodes every night.
Oh, another layer that I forgot about when I was really young. This is probably like when I was 8 years old, 8 to 10, around that area. I had a friend whose parents were really into Rurouni Kenshin. Like, they had posters of them everywhere, and they were the ones that introduced me to video games in general. Final Fantasy and specifically, I don't know what they were on, like maybe 2 or something. It was like really early Final. Actually, it might have been around 7 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they were super in. I played, and this is a dead game that I don't even know if you guys know, is Ragnarok Online, which was a Korean game.
Yeah, I never played it, but I do
Played
know
the
it.
shit out of that game on my friend's computer. Like, he found a way to like kind of break the game a little bit where I could get leveled in like 2 seconds. Like, he had figured it all out. This guy works for Blizzard now. He was just a huge nerd, really early, caught onto that stuff extremely early.
Is he the
He gave
red
me-
shirt guy at the BlizzCon thing?
He gave me like a Ruby Game Boy Advance game when I was younger. He was just like, I'm not gonna use this. You can have it. I was like, that was so lit. So yeah, I had some interest in. They had Inuyasha posters and Rurouni Kenshin. So I went back and watched those.
Yeah.
And they did not exactly age well.
Matt, you look like you.
Nah, I mean, Inuyasha maybe.
That's what I was gonna say, was maybe
yeah.
Inuyasha, but I don't know about
Just the general animation level of like.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's not
Not
going to
the
be comparable.
story or
to-
anything. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They didn't age well in that respect. It's like it's like playing a really old video game, like GoldenEye. Like, great fucking game. Terrible graphics. Right?
which you
Relative-
can play now on the Nintendo Switch Online N64.
All the terrible controls. Like,
Yeah, aiming the crosshair, you
Oh.
can't move.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's funny because everybody talks about GoldenEye being like, you know, the GOAT of like 007 games and like the peak of N64 days, right? Like that with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And it's funny because I never played GoldenEye growing up. I played Nightfire, which was on PS2.
That was a great game. I also played that game. That game was lit.
I have played it again since, like, in the last year I streamed me playing it, and I still love it. But I would say it's a nostalgia thing because we used to have like friends come over. Probably same with GoldenEye. That was the whole experience. Was you have friends come over. You had the 4 squares, right? Same with like Halo Combat Evolved, right? Like the experience was hanging out together and playing the game and shooting each other. Fucking, you take a bazooka, you just the controlled bazooka, right? Like you shoot it and then you control the missile. And you just see some poor little bastard running across it. You're just like, and you're dead. Yeah, I never got into GoldenEye. I have played it, but it was at a time where I already played.
I just remember Nightfire compared to GoldenEye, there was more mutator settings that you can mess with, which to me was kind of eye-opening. I don't know if Halo had come out quite that yet at that point.
I don't think so. Not when Nightfire came out. I don't think so. I don't think the Xbox was out yet.
Yeah. And so like I think that was my first introduction to first-person shooters, unless you count Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
But
Did you actually play with the?
that's your view, dude. It's the gun in the screen.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you say that about Inuyasha though, because I was thinking the story for Inuyasha doesn't seem aged well, just for at least the time that we're in, right? Like a animal-like character with a young girl, right? It at the time it's very like kids can watch it and be like fantasize of it, right? Like same with Harry Potter. When we watched Harry Potter, it's like we want to be in this world, and with kids you want to be in the world of Inuyasha.
Now
right?
we're adults and we fantasize it.
Yeah. Then it turns into a different thing. You know,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You can. That's not making the video.
You know.
No, I'm saying it. No, I'm saying it. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I mean, Rurouni Kenshin as well. I mean, I think it really comes down to storytelling, because one of the things I was going to say though was that I feel like 90s animes, the good ones, will age well story-wise, because they have a story that just kind of will always be like relatable, you know, or enjoyable. Like Yu Yu Hakusho for an example. I can watch Yu Yu Hakusho as many times over and over again, but that show came out in the 90s and I will still watch it to this day. The characters are compelling. It's a fighty shonen, right? Like people aren't over Dragon Ball, and that came out in the 80s, right? So, and people are still making more. So I think it really just says to the story itself, like how well it ages. Rurouni Kenshin, kind of slow, kind of hard for me to watch now, but I loved it when I was starting off watching anime.
Yeah, initial run-throughs of Rurouni Kenshin, like I just watched it straight through, and I'm like, man, I really don't want to go back and like watch some of that again. You know, it's like I got the point, I really enjoy it, but the replay value not as strong.
I am surprised that Matt, we do this thing a lot of times, not every episode, but we'll do this thing where we task each other with an anime to watch that the other hasn't watched yet, and I gave him Trigun. And I was surprised that he hadn't seen Trigun until very recently. And Trigun is one of those Rurouni Kenshin types where it's like the main character you know is overpowered but doesn't want to kill anybody. I thought that was interesting.
I like that general theme for a show a lot.
Yeah, Matt I mean...
Yeah, Trigun was good. I liked it. It was very interesting. Obviously, like, when you watch those older shows, the animation quality is not going to be up to cuff with, like, you know, I guess
Even
like
early Naruto.
you know, super good anime.
No, my hero, dude, fuck that show. Like, you know, animation style like a Demon Slayer, you know, like they, you know, dude, all right, you know, I'm saying
I mean,
it's
you
Demon
literally
Slayer.
picked the top echelon of animation as far as a comparison. It's like nothing
Right.
compares to it.
Yeah, that's what. Well,
Except
okay, I think that-
Zero, you know, the other animes that Ufotable has done, which I want you to watch, but you know, whatever.
Hey man, you can always assign them, but you just haven't.
Well, because I'm waiting for you to finish K, motherfucker.
I don't have to finish K. I'm looking for something new at this point.
Okay, then Fate Zero it is. You have to watch Fate
alright.
Zero.
Fate Zero, cool. I'll do that.
Because if we're talking animation quality, this is one of the gripes that I had, where Demon Slayer broke through mainstream popularity because of its animation quality, and yet Fate Zero did the same quality of animation back in 2011 or 2012. Nobody gave a shit. Barely anybody watched it, mainly because the Fate series has a stigma about it, but Fate Zero blew me away with the animation quality. Nobody watched it. Demon Slayer, same animators, blows everybody away. So it's my little
Because
gripe.
everybody rides on Demon Slayers, you know, rides on their stuff and
rides on
it's
their
just-
swords.
Yep.
You don't like that?
Dude, I'm like nervous, man, for the Crunchyroll awards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think it's mostly gonna be like Demon Slayer wins?
Dude, I I really hope not. Like,
'Cause you want
I
Attack
feel
on
like it's
Titan
gonna be.
wins.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot of like Demon Slayer Attack on Titan, and I think that there were a lot of good animes this year that just aren't gonna get recognized through that. So.
Cough cough ranking of kings. Or cough cough.
Or cough cough Chainsaw Man, like you know.
Wasn't nominated for anything.
I know.
It's so annoying.
Anyways, so Adrian, you had mentioned, you know, the kind of transitioning off of Naruto, into like Rurouni Kenshin, you know, Inuyasha, stuff like that. Is there a genre of anime that you tend to see yourself going towards nowadays? Like, are you somebody who enjoys all types of anime, or are you like, okay, I'm a specific enjoyer of this subset of anime?
And to add on to that real quick, I feel like maybe you're the type of person that needs to be like recommended a show for you to check it out if it's not in the genre that you already watch. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't branch out a ton. I mean, I'm pretty basic when it comes to anime. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I joked about Toriko earlier. Love Toriko. I'd watch that high all the time and just be salivating through the entire episode. Like, they make food look so delicious. I like that. They describe the textures and stuff. I'm super into that. I watch cooking shows, so I actually like that a lot. I'll never watch the basketball ones. I won't watch the volleyball ones. I hear they're good.
Oh boy. Don't say that
It's-
in front of Matt.
I like fantasy, alright? So real life,
So Mashuka Tensei, you'll love it, dude. It's so good.
like,
That's
I don't know. I like, maybe it's my, because I do like the Marvel Universe, stuff like that. I just need something extra, you know, like reality TV entertains me only in a certain way, you know, like just watching my brain go to mush. There's like trash people doing trash things, whatever, but it doesn't really interest me that much. It's just background noise, but like, I would say I just like arc style things, building up to the next level, seeing progression.
Yeah.
So obviously like Naruto and One Piece.
And Big
Okay.
Bang Theory.
So you like the Bailey? Your takes are trash this episode.
What?
Like,
Big
I
Bang
don't,
Theory?
I don't.
Bro.
Yeah, I
what are you
don't
talking
know what
about?
the hell.
Back me up here,
I don't know what
homie.
the hell's going on with you, man.
So you're saying
Like-
because they can like actually decently socialize and get girlfriends, is that the upgrade?
No, I was outing the fact that you
That's
were
the
like,
fantasy.
I'm secretly a huge fan of Big Bang Theory. And we can cut this if you don't want people to know that you're a big fan of Big Bang Theory, but don't leave me hanging out here on the rafters in front of Matt.
That was the first thing that my sister pirated from college and brought back home to me. And I watched the shit out of that for free on repeat.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Go
I mean,
ahead,
I
Matt.
guess if you have nothing else to watch, then that's fine.
Okay,
So-
alright, for sure.
So I mean, it's better than doing nothing, right? So,
Bro, what's her
anyways,
name? Who plays Penny?
Kaylee Cuoco. I know.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I watched that show.
And it's funny because I first saw her in a sitcom where she was 16, her first TV show that she did, and I watched that as a kid, and that's when I was like, oh my god, this girl, holy shit. And then I got older and realized she was in another sitcom, and I'm like, she's the only reason why I'll watch it.
Sitcom babes, Kaylee Cuoco, fucking
Country?
no, Mila Kunis.
Oh yeah, Mila Kunis, for sure, for sure. Has Anna Kendrick ever been in a sitcom, Matt? This is a question for you since you are a huge fan of her.
I don't believe so. I think she's just does movies.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
You were getting to something anime related.
I was, yes. I'm actually interested, and I kind of hear an answer for this already in what you were saying. So I know that you're a big sports guy. Like you follow a lot of, you know, like football, basketball, stuff like that. So it's surprising to me that you don't watch sports animes, but I kind of got the idea that when you watch anime, you're looking for something that you can't watch in the real world. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few music ones. I'll never watch those because those thoughts are in my head 24/7, right? For the audience that doesn't know, I'm a violinist. And so, like, I don't really listen to classical music on my free time because I have so much of that in my brain already. I love it, don't get me wrong, and I have moods when I want to listen to it, but in a similar vein, Like the basketball one, they talk about technique, talk about winning sports mentalities. Like I already feed my brain with enough of that stuff every day by watching, NFL, NBA, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's very similar to like anime YouTubers that get really big. They then don't want to watch anime because they already do it as their job. They don't do it separately. They only do it for
In their free time, yeah.
Yeah. And anybody who automatically assumed that he was a violinist, be better. So I just wanted to.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna pitch a show. What if there was a basketball show, but the people who played basketball had powers?
Like devil fruits. or
Devil fruits. So we're
Yeah,
talking
like-
about Space Jam.
Space,
One of
Space
the
Jam.
best anime movies out there, honestly.
Yeah,
but-
honestly,
Not the remake.
no. Michael Jordan is a great anime protagonist.
Yes. There is. I know what you're getting at, Matt, because he said both basketball and volleyball, and I was like, wow, we have one person, me, who watched all of Kuroko no Basket, which is the anime he's referring to, where they play basketball, but each star
watched all of it.
player has like this insane ability when they play basketball, which is. It's not like a superpower ability, but it's something that just works in their mind and is applied to the show. Like
I'm sorry, make any 3-point shot is a power. That's a superpower.
Yeah.
That's not
There's a
Steph
character who's
Curry
like-
bullshit. That's
That's gonna be
like
really hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
Miss for me because
no, it
like,
could. Yeah.
Like I can watch Steph Curry drain threes all day, and that's gonna be way more entertaining for me watching that than being like, oh, this is gonna go in. I'm sure there's build up. I'm sure there's more than that.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
I will say the cool thing about sports animes is that because it is kind of slice of lifey, which I would say Kuroko no Basket is the least slice of life sports anime because they do have these abilities that they do. Where Haikyuu, the volleyball one, which is Matt's favorite, and I also watched it and I really, really enjoyed it, even though I knew nothing.
I watched an episode of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They take it in a way more realistic sense of how it actually feels to play volleyball, the passion behind it, the things that they do. It's not like,
Yeah,
this
I don't want to
person
hear
has a
anything about
superpower,
that.
You know? Yeah.
If I want to hear that story, I want to hear real life stories. Yeah.
Which is
But
understandable.
I would watch the whatever the basketball one is. I'll watch a couple sods.
It's not good. As someone who watched it, it's not good. I just enjoyed watching it because it's.
Well, I
fucking
just want to see
ridiculous.
how I'm gonna feel about it. Either it's gonna be really corny in my head,
Yes.
or it's gonna be like, okay, I kind of enjoy, maybe they'll talk a little more basketball strategy than I don't know. We'll see.
I'm into shit media. Like I like watching things that are bad. So I like Kuroko no Basket, but from a critical standpoint, it's not. It's corny as fuck, dude. It's ridiculous. Like it. They have full-on conversations, and yet they're not getting flagged for what's the when you're still dribbling in one place. What's the
Doing like a travel or a
not
double
a
dribble.
travel. It's like when you just stand in one place and just dribble for too long and not pass or move. There's the.
Well, there's two parts of that. There's one when you're out of bounds and you have to make a throw, and there's a timer on that. And there's also right in front of the hoop.
Shot clock.
He's talking about a shot clock.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
24-second shot clock.
yeah, so when it's anime, right, they're having full-on conversations that take like 10 minutes in the show, right, and they're just standing there dribbling. That's obviously
that's too, like, I watch DBC because I want to see people fly through the air and kick ass, and I'll tolerate that, but I don't think I tolerate that for basketball.
so just letting you know. But I did
Fair
want
point.
to touch on the fact that you like the food stuff. So you like Food Wars, right?
I don't think I've watched Food Wars.
If you like cooking and you like your cooking shows to be a little etchy, you should watch Food Wars.
And so this is an anime.
Yes.
I am shocked that you haven't seen.
Would I rather watch
Food
Gordon Ramsay yell at people or that?
No, dude, here's the thing. I love Food Wars, and Matt likes Food Wars too, but not to the extent that I do. I have rewatched Food Wars more than once. There is a point where it's, the final season, not typically high regard, but everything up till the final season it's so intricate about the foods, the ingredients, the smells, the taste.
Yeah, I'd probably like that. I'd probably like that.
Oh, I think you'll love it. I thought for sure that you had watched Food Wars because I know that you love
No.
Sanji and,
Yeah. I don't love Sanji.
You love what he does, which is simp
I like
and
cooking.
cook.
Yeah.
Well, you don't love the simping aspect to it?
I was gonna say this boy's a simpzilla, dude. He can't control himself. It's like have some respect, bro, for yourself.
So you had mentioned like so the real stuff doesn't do it for you. You're more of like the fantasy type stuff. What like I guess we'll hit the fantasy stuff in a second. Do you watch any like high school slice of life type stuff, or is that just like this is school, this is boring?
There was one, but it was like, oh, what was it called? It's like on Netflix right now. It was like
Kakagurui? Yeah.
I don't
That's a gambling one, and you'd remember
my
that one.
demon girlfriend or some shit. I can't remember. I've watched one of them and it was like, okay, I got bored pretty quick.
Okay, sure. So you need like kind of the like mystical elements of like a fantasy world.
I want to see shit that's not possible, and I want you to try to explain it to me in whatever world you're in.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. I love that explanation. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So
I don't want to start off knowing everything. I want to be confused, and then you tell me why it should make sense. Yeah.
Like it's like Star Wars. It's like, all right, we've got the Force. We can shoot laser beams out of our hands and stuff, and then they get into the detail about the mitochondrions or whatever.
Midichlorian. Yeah.
Midichlorian, whatever. Mitochondria.
just the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, the powerhouse of the Force, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I like it when they kind of get into details of that, and you can see it's like Reishi and, not Soul Eater, motherfucker. Bleach, thank you.
But you have seen Soul Eater.
Yes.
Okay. So, that it is school setting, but it's completely like Halloween Town-esque, you know?
Yeah, but it's got fantasy in it.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I watch. Like, the reason why Matt and I work well on this is because he's very much more the romance, the slice of life type stories, and I can watch them and appreciate them, but I would never have watched them on my own. So when he tells me watch this anime and then I end up watching it, it's a fun discussion because he already knows how he's supposed to feel when watching them, and you know, he listens to how I respond to it, because I'm much more of the shonen type, and I like battle anime. I like when, you know, people train, get stronger, fight enemies that are stronger than them, because all these battle anime shonens have that same trope where it's like the main character, he's overpowered, but then they come into contact with an enemy that beats their ass, and then they have to go through this internal turmoil and then training and getting over it, going through it. So that's the stuff that I'm also more into.
And anime, you know, in some moments in anime, I think we can all admit, you know, you shed a tear here and there. I want something that also, like, I do enjoy it when it pushes my emotions. You know, crying is not a thing that I particularly enjoy doing or do often. Well,
sure.
Therapy outside of this, you know, whatever.
Well, this is the anime therapy podcast, so if you do cry, then it's okay.
You know, I like stuff that pushes me to that point, you know, or like lights a fire under my ass. I feel inspired to go. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think which NBA athlete? Oh no, it's a fighter. I think Adesanya, the UFC fighter. Talks a lot about watching anime and how it's inspired him to like fight in real life.
Yeah, he even does like the Rock Lee poses and like kicks and stuff. Yeah, he's full. He talks about it in interviews. He's like, my favorite anime is Naruto, and I love Rock Lee because Rock Lee is a character that's just a fighter, and then he'll do like.
I think Zion Williamson in the NBA also has talked about this before. He's like, Naruto didn't change his morals, I won't either, or something like that.
Yeah. It's funny because I know nothing of sports or even players, even less than the sports themselves. I know players a lot less, but I do know the players that are into anime, because then I'm like, oh, okay, then I can watch how you play and realize like, oh.
And they call it's like applicable to us, because like they call them out and being like, oh, you're such a loser, you watch anime, whatever. It's like, okay, fine, he's a loser. He plays in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is not a valid argument for people that watch that sort of thing. And so that's kind of validating to hear.
Also, calling people losers for watching anime in 2023 is such a cringe take. Like,
yeah, it's like
because anime is so popular now. Like,
yeah, we've
taken
back the word. We've taken back the stigma of anime.
Yeah, maybe in like the 90s or the early 2000s, like people were like, nerd culture, like just getting shit on. But I'm sorry, man. As soon as 2010 came and all that, bomb anime dropped, like it was over.
The
That's
world
it.
God only knows. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, but
Gotta
there's
mention
definitely
it
a
every episode.
stigma even now, I would say, for people that, and it's not as heavy as it used to be, but that people that, watch anime and stuff like that. I have tons of friends who are just like, oh, I can't watch anything animated, period.
Yeah.
Can't watch South Park, Family Guy, anything like that. They're just like, oh, it's just, I want to see real life people.
Yeah. I have a high school buddy that will never watch anime. He's like, I can't watch it. He was traumatized, I guess.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hate watching regular TV shows now. It's like, because the subject material is just so fucking boring. Like,
Dude, what are you talking about? You haven't watched Milk Manor on TLC? Dude, it's greatest.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay, my fiance showed me a trailer for that, and she was like, we should watch this together, and I'm like, I will never, ever watch this show.
So terribly bad, dude, but it's entertaining.
Oh my god, man.
It's entertaining.
Nah,
People like
man.
shit TV shows. Like, one of my favorite reality TV shows is Jersey Shore. I just think it's entertaining to watch these pieces of shit drink and fight each other.
Dude, the last real show that I watched was the first season of White Lotus, and man, I just wanted to die watching that show.
That had to have been very recently then, because
It's
that's a
so
new show.
cringe, man. It's just, oh my god.
Wait, you mean you didn't watch Daredevil season 3 and Luke Cage season 2?
Okay, what about Fear Factor?
Oh, dude, Fear Factor is so good.
It's like back in the 2000s, man. Like, when Joe Rogan was
Had hair.
not senile.
When he wasn't doing a podcast and had hair. Yeah. So Adrian, let me ask you this straight out. Actually, two things. One, have you watched Black Clover?
No.
It's a 170 episode shonen. It's easily the.
I've seen on my recommended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just preface this with, as far as all the new shonens and new generation TV shows, it is highly underrated. Not enough people watch it. It is probably the best shonen that has come out, and if we're not including like Attack on Titan, which is technically
trash.
shonen. What?
I'm
What was that?
gonna come back and be like, trash, you're wrong.
Yeah,
I know, I'm a shonen junkie. I'll probably like it.
It's so good, man. It is like
If you get past Asta's voice, then you'll be fine.
it's Asta, but whatever.
No, it's Asta.
No, it's not Asta.
it's Asta because of the voice.
Asta.
He doesn't have a bad voice. He just yells a lot. Have you read manga, Adrian?
Not really, no.
Yeah, you should read a fucking book.
Shout out to Christian, that motherfucker.
That was a layup right there. All right, so you have any memorable waifus, and you can only pick one from One Piece, but as many as you want from anything else. Also,
Okay.
Matt, who's your favorite waifu from One Piece while he goes through the internal struggle over here?
Nami.
Okay, fair enough.
She's the only girl I can remember from One Piece.
Dude, not gonna lie, Boa Hancock, man.
Dude, I don't get it. I don't
Get it?
I don't get it, dude. I don't. Matt's looking her up right now. I don't get it.
Okay, first of all,
Nico Robin is hotter than her.
I'm into. Oh, see, that was my second option.
Okay.
I'm into brunettes with blue eyes.
Okay.
And so both of them. And dude, Bo is so fine. She seems like she'd be a great waifu. She wants to wife up Luffy.
I think it's a hair thing for me. Her hairstyle.
Adrian, I get it.
Her hairstyle
thank
versus Nico Robin's hairstyle, I think is the big
But
kicker.
they're similar now with the long hair. I don't know, bro. They like pretty much look the same.
Well, younger Robin, pre-time skip Robin, and Boa Hancock.
We don't
had
get
the
to
same
see
hair.
young Boa, so I feel like that's not an.
No,
Well,
I mean pre-time skip. Robin has the same hair, the bangs and the straight hair as Hancock does now, right? They have the same hairstyle, but post-time skip Robin, she doesn't have the bangs. She like puts her hair back, which I think just works so much better.
I think there's an age difference between those two. I think.
There is, yeah. Robin's older.
Older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin's older. Yeah, she's
Aged like fine wine.
I guess technically speaking, she's the third oldest member, but I used to refer to her as the second oldest. But now, where we are in the story, technically the third oldest Straw Hat member. It was Frankie was the oldest. Oh wait, no, I guess she's fourth. Brooke. I guess Brooke is the oldest technically, and then Jinbei, then Frankie, then Robin. So never mind. My whole thing just went right up.
I think my second favorite, dude, Ino from Naruto. I also like blondes, so you know,
It was bad. Yeah.
it's a pretty easy one
Especially when she got older, dude. Oh my god.
for sure.
Yeah. Once she hit legal age, I was like, damn.
Dude, also
she's so hot.
Hinata when she gets older.
Don't see it. I don't get it with Hinata. I really
She's
don't.
quiet.
Like,
I
I
think
know
it's a
what that
bangs
means.
thing. I think it's a bangs thing. I don't like the bangs for female characters. I guess that's what it is with Hinata and Hancock. I'm now realizing it. Anything else? Like I feel like we've only touched on like 2 animes that you really I mean, you said you watched Bleach, right? So Rengo is it Rengoku?
Is it the chick that's like in love with her captain, the short guy?
No, the orange-haired chick.
Yeah, she's fine as fuck. Also, also the chick that's in love with her captain, the short guy. I can't remember names right now. The one that has the ice dragon.
Yeah. I do know his name. It'll come to me in a sec. But his sub-captain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever she is, also great.
And I mean, I guess Lightning Cat Lady, Yoruichi.
You basically get to see her naked all the time, so that's pretty sick.
Yoruichi, that's kind of it's
She-
kind of cheating.
Yo, for brunettes, like on that end without the blue eyes, like yeah. Also, she's super fine.
I don't know what it is about like darker skin anime chicks.
Oh, it's because she's also a cat, you know.
Yeah,
like-
that really plays into like your.
I want her to
interest.
be a bitch to me a little bit. Like I want her to say naughty words to me. But yeah.
I'm also a sucker
Any
for purple
other
hair.
animes? I don't know.
trying to get stepped on or something, Adrian? Like,
So you should watch a Kame ga Kill.
Or Attack on Titan.
Yeah, if you're into Colossal Titan, sure.
Yeah, people get stepped on in that show too.
That they do. They also get rocks thrown at them. Rest in peace. Rest in pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I don't
really have a ton of waifu suggestions past that. I'm not gonna lie.
what about husbandos? Now, this isn't husbandos.
Dude,
isn't
look
necessarily.
at the way Bond looks in Seven Deadly Sins.
The only good part of that show, for sure, in my opinion. That and Escanor.
That guy is always just like basically shirtless. He's a smooth motherfucker.
Dude, he's a hottie, for sure. He really is.
Yeah.
I
mean,
fully agree with
that
you.
guy's there for sex appeal
Yeah.
in that show. 100%.
Have you watched JoJo's yet?
No.
Gotta hop on that train, bro. Gotta hop on that train.
We've already listed like 5 animes I need to watch after this.
I would say probably start with Black
Look, I
Clover or JoJo.
I could give you a list of 100, man,
Yeah,
that you should watch. Like, but yeah, JoJo's is up there.
JoJo's and Black Clover are both longer, so
That's
if you
Jujutsu
want that,
Kaisen. That thing pops up for me all the time.
Okay, Bailey and I disagree on this. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is really, really good, and Bailey just thinks it's okay.
Okay.
I think it's
I haven't heard
overhyped.
bad.
I think it's overhyped. I don't think that it's bad.
And I disagree. I think it's hyped enough.
I think it is. I think it's watchable and fun and good, but I don't think that it's it's not this like amazing thing that has come out of nowhere. But I will skip past that for the sake of the parents arguing, while the kid is still in the room. I do think that Jujutsu Kaisen gets a lot of slack from me because it is so similar to Naruto, in the sense that it's literally a squad of 4 people, one of which being older with white hair, who's a hottie. What?
Spoiler alert.
It's literally that's the cover. If you look at the show before you even watch it, that's the cover.
Dude, I never know what those covers mean for a show, bro. You can't let that mislead you.
I mean, it's the 4 main characters are very much Sakura, Sasuke, Naruto, and Kakashi. That's just my biggest issue about it, is that people are praising it so much and yet they're not looking at the fact that it's straight up a rip. But we can move past it unless Matt wants to tell me how wrong I am. I mean, am I wrong in that sense?
No, you're not wrong in that sense, but I think that doesn't detract from the show. So,
initial first impression, it had that effect. For the rest of the show, you're right. It doesn't actually take away from all of it, because the dynamics are very different. The characters are very different for sure. But it was just a first impression aesthetic thing.
Adrian, have you seen Death Note at all?
I've seen like 2 episodes of Death Note. I was borderline if I was gonna. Obviously, I didn't watch it after that, so
Sure.
But I did like. There was an inkling for liking it, but honestly, in my mind, it was a little bit stressful. I was less relaxed during that show for some reason than I am watching other people get killed. Mystery, I don't care about a ton. I don't know.
Like the cat and mouse whodunit, kind of like.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it, but I would pick it up again and see a few more episodes.
Matt, were you?
You don't have to pick. You don't have to pick up that again. You can just pick up a better show, which is more fantasy related too, because there's mecha parts of it. You can pick up Code Geass.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Code Geass and Death Note are compared a lot, and it is under the general consensus that Code Geass is just better than Death Note. But Death Note is a starter anime. Like, most people that start watching anime watch Death Note as one of their first animes, because it is very widely appropriate for anybody. Like, I showed my mom Death Note and she liked it, but she'll still call it a cartoon. So Death Note is definitely a starter, but Code Geass is like the better version of it. Very different concepts, but a similar thing of I wouldn't say like it has that like catch the killer kind of thing, but that isn't really what shoehorned. It's definitely way more poetic, I would say, right, Matt? It's definitely, Code Geass is a lot more poetic with its narrative and characters.
I agree.
Yeah. So husbando, just Bon. What about Kakashi? What about Itachi?
I'd throw Kakashi in there. I don't know.
Hashirama, daddy.
Who is really daddy? If we're gonna go with who's daddy in a show, I mean, definitely you can drop like Garp from One Piece. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's granddaddy.
He's literally daddy,
yeah.
But like he also has daddy vibes.
Yeah, granddaddy for sure. I did hear an interesting theory about Garp, because as we know, Garp does not have a devil fruit, right? I heard an interesting.
We all knew that.
Yes.
All of us.
Yeah. I heard an interesting theory that he does have a devil fruit, because let me preface it with this: we've never seen him in water. We've never seen him swim, so it hasn't been disproven that he has a devil fruit. But the theory specifically is that he has the hockey devil fruit, where his devil fruit is specifically hockey. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
I think that's too much.
Thinking.
No, it's too much. That's too much a myth. I think. I don't think that's. They're not gonna do that, because I don't think Gold Roger had a devil fruit either.
I thought he did. I will look it up while Matt falls asleep on us talking about One Piece.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think Roger does, but I could be wrong. That's why I'm thinking they had to have a counter for it.
Yeah. What? Whitebeard, who did have? Oh, you mean Garb?
Yeah. Also, I don't think what's his face with the swords? Oh my god, my brain's not working right now. The samurai dude.
For who?
The one with Wano.
Odin. Yeah.
Odin. I don't think Odin has.
Odin did not have a devil fruit.
Yeah, they're just strong motherfuckers.
No, he was
That's
just
three
the
examples.
strongest motherfucker without a devil fruit.
Yeah, dude, that's 3 people right there. I think all the swordsmen that are in Wano also, because they developed their own like special hockey, you know. Let's keep going though. We could do One Piece things another time because Matt's gonna die.
Well, I did want to.
Oh no, this.
Well, here's the thing. Matt is a very information receiving kind of person. Like, even if he doesn't know anything about something, hearing the information and deeper lore, I feel like is something that he likes. It's unfortunate that he's made jokes along with another one of our friends, just trying to trigger us about how he feels about One Piece, even though I don't think it's true. Because you have actually watched the Marineford War arc. You've actually watched the Paramount War arc, where another one of our friends, who we have name dropped on here and talked shit about, but it's okay because he doesn't watch this podcast, James. James has watched maybe 3 episodes and says that the show is trash, where Matt, I think, just does it to get a rise out of me. Because
I do it for the hee hee ha ha's.
Yeah, because he watched at least 300 episodes of the show.
Well, I didn't. I read One Piece.
Okay.
I never watched the anime. Because I used to read it in Shonen Jump when it was coming out. So
Matt, do you know who Blackbeard is?
yes, he's a pirate.
Yes. Do you know anything more about Blackbeard? Not the real Blackbeard from our world. I mean, in One Piece, you fuck. I know that's what you meant.
I'm like vaguely remembering that Blackbeard was like Ace's teacher or something like that, or did like Ace have some relation to Blackbeard?
So Blackbeard is the one that got Ace put into Impel Down, and eventually to the Marineford HQ, where the war happened over Ace being executed.
Ace was hunting Blackbeard for killing one of his crewmates.
Yes. Yeah. Teach. No, not Teach. Because his name is Marshall D. Teach. The character that he killed is a reference to the real Blackbeard. I can't remember his name though.
Blackbeard was a reference to Blackbeard. What are you talking about?
Well, the real names. So Teach, Marshall D. Teach. Teach is part of Blackbeard's real name, but Marshall D is not. Where the character that he kills is real Blackbeard's first name, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ace was hunting him down. He encountered him and lost. And Blackbeard basically was like, cool, I'm going to send you to the Marines so they can have you executed. He's a real bad dude. He's not a good guy by any means.
Great antagonist. Great.
Yeah, very good antagonist. And pretty much the overall antagonist through the whole story, yet plays a very small appearance.
Nah, dude, Akaina can go shove it where the sun don't shine.
Fuck that guy.
Little volcano ass.
I mention Blackbeard because there is a thing about him, which if you did watch the Paramount War, like, you know about Ace dying, right? Because at this point, everybody knows that Ace dies. Not even really a spoiler anymore. But what also happens at that war is that he gains another devil fruit power. Now, I'm not going to go into specifics, but he gets a second one, which is supposed to be known in the lore as not possible. Like, it's supposed to be impossible to have 2 devil fruit powers, and he gets a second one.
They literally went, hey, look the other way, we're going to put a curtain here.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I have 2 devil fruit powers. Alright, cool.
Yeah, pretty much. So
that shit made me laugh. I'm like, really? That's what we're gonna do for this? Okay, cool. Behind door number 1.
yeah. That's just what I wanted to mention. I mean, I'll talk to Adrian more about a theory that I have, but, you know, I think it's funny that you said that you read it, because that is globally known as the best way to consume One Piece because the manga is the highest selling manga of all time, and has still never been beaten out. And the anime is good, but it's not as good as the manga, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Here's
man.
a question
Current scene
Here's a question for you, Adrian. Since you seem to enjoy, a lot of the big anime, what's your take on filler?
Not gonna lie, once I got into Shippuden, I googled the filler episodes and I was like, I skipped some of them for sure. Some filler I like. It depends on my mood. If I'm trying to figure out what happens next, I'll skip the filler and be like main storyline, and then I'll go back and watch the filler.
Did you watch Kakashi Power filler? The 6-episode filler with Kakashi, where it's his backstory of being in the Anbu and
yeah. I watched that.
That's a really good one. Itachi's backstory as well was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good
in
question,
general, filler's filler. I think what else has filler in it? Like Bleach. Oh god, yeah, the fucking fillers in Bleach are brutal, dude. Those are brutal. Yeah. Those were way less interesting than Naruto.
Bleach's filler is the reason why I dropped Bleach, and I had watched over 100 episodes.
There's a little too much in there. It gives you some downtime from being in action all the time. I think that's the point of that. Like, it relaxes your brain. If you're binging it and like there's a whole bunch of shit happening and you're like, I need a break, that's what the filler's for. But generally, like when I'm watching the story, I want to know what happens next. Like, I've gotten to the point in the Harry Potter video game where I've been doing side quests, but now I'm just grinding main quest lines of like, I want to know what happens next.
That was me with God of War. I just wanted to do the story, and now I'm doing all the side stuff.
I'm not really.
Also, you can't say that One Piece doesn't have filler.
No, it does.
It does. But I've watched all of the One Piece filler.
It's enjoyable because One Piece is the story of them going on adventures from island to island. So the fillers don't even feel like filler. It just feels like part of their adventure. And the reason why I said what I said was because that's people's argument for One Piece is that it's so much filler. It's not. It has the least amount of filler out of all shonens. It has 9% filler, which Bleach has 43% filler. That's almost half of the show is filler, where One Piece only has 90 episodes of filler compared to Naruto, which has 40% filler, which is, I think, close to like 200 episodes.
Yeah, Bleach is a big filler problem for sure.
It's the reason why I dropped it. It was the Grimmjow fight. He was fighting Grimmjow. Highest what's the word? The peak of the conflict.
Climax.
The climax. Thank you. It was literally the climax of the Grimmjow fight in Hueco Mundo, and like it's not even done. The fight's not even done. It's just like something big happens, Orihime, gets stabbed or whatever, and then immediately goes into a human world superhero filler arc for like 10 episodes, and I was like, I'm done. I've already invested 100 episodes and I watched all the other fillers. Fuck you. So I just went on YouTube and just watched like the main battles. So
yeah,
that's the true anime fan stuff, is when you go and watch anime on YouTube, especially in like the early 2000s, like 2010s era, where you had to find like Naruto episode 189 part 1 of 3.
Yeah. and then the next video, and then the next part 3 of that video, and then sometimes you would find a YouTube channel that had all of them, but then they would be missing a part for one of the episodes. So then you had to go find someone else that filled in that part, but it would never do it perfectly. Yeah. Oh my god, those were the days. All right, so we're reaching the end of the podcast. I know time flies, right? So how about we go into what we're all here for, right? Adrian, do you have a top 5 favorite anime of all time, starting at number 5?
Starting at 5. That was the toss-up one for me. I put Inuyasha / Fairy Tail at 5.
Well, I kind of feel bad about saying what I said about Inuyasha earlier.
I mean, I don't care. I just enjoyed it. I don't know. It was fun.
I'm sorry. I haven't done this in a while, but I do typically preface before we do the top 5 for everybody watching. This is everybody's personal preferences. These do not mean that everybody thinks that these are the best animes, the top 5 animes that are the best or better than any others. These are your personal preferences, the ones that you find closest to you, the ones that are your favorites, and all of that. So I forgot to preface that. It's been a while. Go ahead. So Inuyasha / Fairy Tail. That's totally...
And like, if I could have a third, like, Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins to me are like the same thing, in my mind. So those are all like right down there in the bottom.
Do you have 4 more that are above those 3, or are those 5, 4, and 3?
No, I have 4 more above those, and they're all singular at that point. I just had a tough time. It's like I got to
decide for 5.
Yeah, I couldn't decide what actually could make the list if I have to pick 5. If we did out of 10, it'd be a lot easier for me, because I think that's like probably the most animes that I've watched in depth is probably around 10.
You've seen 10 anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
So let's go through all the anime you've watched. Okay, now rank them.
Yeah. Okay. So,
can I help maybe a little bit? As someone
Sure.
who has never watched Inuyasha fully, I've watched a few episodes. Didn't like Seven Deadly Sins at all. And who used to talk a whole lot of shit, especially on this podcast, about Fairy Tail before I ever watched it all. And then within this last 6 months, I did decide, sit down, watch it all before you can make a decision on, you know. I did talk a lot of shit on Fairy Tail. I would say probably out of those 3, Fairy Tail is the better of the 3, in my opinion, as far as like, I didn't think it was good, but I did very much enjoy watching it. I thought it was so fun to watch, but I had critical nitpicks of it, so.
I think Fairy Tail has a good light and dark balance. Like, Natsu in general is just like, I like happy-go-lucky characters, so like Meliodas was a really easy one on that end. He was just like touching titties all the time and like, you know, just like being a goof, and then it's like, oh shit, he has to deal with all this stuff. He got baggage, whatever. And so I really like the light. That's a similar reason why I like One Piece, is the lightheartedness at times is just like really fun, you know, good feelings, and then, you know, there's that emotional side, like.
The cover of the book is fun, and then you get to a chapter that gets really serious, and you're like,
right.
Holy shit, yeah.
There's always like some scenes, just like Lion King, like someone losing their parent, or whether like Natsu missing Dragneel and stuff like that, and you know, there's some certain heartstring things that are in there that I think I really, you know, I don't think about often, and so if that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, some people go through this sometimes in life, like missing a parent and growing up with that and having to deal with it. Yeah. So I do, that's like kind of how anime is. It appeals to us because of the human side of like, there's the shared experience, and it's just through fantasy in this form, like no one's parent is a fucking dragon. Yeah. So like, you know, having a dragon parent might be a little different. You know, what does he miss about it? You know, it's a similar feeling of missing a parent, but you know, he's a dragon, so there's some different stuff too. It's like,
and then it gets to a point where there's like 4 other characters who also have parents of dragons. But yeah.
Yeah, which I love anything with dragons in it. So I was all in on the Dragon Slayer imagine. I was like, fuck yes, that's what I want to see.
You like dragons?
I only imagining them.
Oh, okay. All right. So number 4.
Number 4, I put Hunter x Hunter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay, I was gonna say, when you were talking about Fairy Tail, I was like, if this dude hasn't watched Hunter x Hunter yet, like he's basically just describing the better version, like the extremely better version of Fairy Tail right now, because like, you know, the whole Gon Killua stuff is so cool. But yeah.
Yeah,
that's Hunter x Hunter, when I was in Cleveland, my buddy was like, oh, you gotta watch this, it's the GOAT. And I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, oh, I quickly realized, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good show, I can tell.
I don't want to spoil the rest of your list, but have you seen Yu Yu Hakusho?
No. Well, dude, I saw it growing up when we were younger, when it was on TV, but I never went, I think I went and like rewatched an episode, I was like, the animation's gonna kill me.
You don't have to watch it.
No, no, not true. the person that wrote Hunter x Hunter also wrote Yu Yu Hakusho before Hunter x Hunter. Just so you know, his I'm guessing it's number 4 because you recognize how good the storytelling and characters and lore and everything about it. He does that in all of his works.
The sweet spot for anime for me is it's gotta look good and it's gotta have a at least a decent story. You know, like if it looks bad but has a really good story, that'll weigh fine. I'll like it. And if it's got terrible animation and the story, or did I do that one already? If it's got really good animation and terrible storytelling, I still probably will like it anyway because I want to see some crazy shit. It's like kind of how I feel about the Fate series. I know you guys talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I love the Fate series. I thought it was badass for a lot of stuff. I like the reference to like all the gods and like heroes from the past and stuff like that. It's like, oh, who are they gonna pick and how are they gonna express their powers?
Yeah. I think I had no idea you had watched Fate.
Yeah. And so also there's some baddies in that one too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. There's some baddies in there too.
Well, I think Hunter x Hunter at number 4 is great. That's a great pick for sure.
Now, did you tell me I leave DBZ in or out of this list because I watched it when I was younger?
I didn't say whether or not. I just meant for like the first anime that you ever watched. A lot of us in our generation, the first thing we watched was Dragon Ball.
DBZ. Yeah. So I put Dragon Ball the series at 3.
Yeah.
I've watched it from Dragon Ball the original and all the way through what we have now. I think I skipped a few movies in the middle somewhere, but you know, for the most part, like Dragon Ball, fucking sick. Used to sit across the mirror and clench my muscles, and hopefully the thing would pop up, and I'd be like, okay, I can fly now. You know, had a hope and a dream when I was younger that was gonna happen.
Matt, you like that?
Hey, I mean, you know, the Dragon Ball series is super fun. Big throwback for me. So yeah, I respect it.
Yeah, I really like Dragon Ball the original because DBZ was out when we were kids, right? Yeah. And so I was like, how the hell did this guy come about? And so I found Dragon Ball later, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'll watch this whole thing. Because I knew what was coming later. I knew what the story was gonna go into, but you know, the early animation for Dragon Ball was like, oh god.
Yeah.
You know, for our standards now, obviously looking back.
I love that because I was gonna ask what part of Dragon Ball that you like the most, and original Dragon Ball is my favorite out of all of it. I don't know, Matt, did you say Z? I think you said
Z is mine. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also totally fair. As long as nobody picks Super or GT, you know, that's totally
I'd pick Dragon. If I had to pick all the Dragon Ball eras from Dragon Ball to DBZ all the way through, I picked the whole series as number 3 because it's like I like bits and pieces of all of them. I think DBZ is the most nostalgic because that was the every Saturday, or like it was always on Cartoon Network when I got home and stuff like that from school.
For kids or WB or whatever. Yeah,
first time Goku hits Super Saiyan, so fucking lit.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love the Cell arc as well.
I gotta say, your list is turning out a lot better than I thought it was going to because of how you said how little of a anime experience that you have,
Well, the crazy, I've seen there's a gazillion episodes in Dragon Ball too, so I've watched the whole thing through. I'm weird. I'm not a completionist, but I want to see where the story goes the whole time. Yeah. Also, my memory's so bad that if I don't keep watching it straight, I'm gonna forget where the fuck I was or what was happening at that time. Yeah. So I kind of have to watch them in that sort of fashion. I can't jump around animes. It's too.
I think your memory was pretty good when we did the Naruto Jeopardy, though. I think you're pretty on par.
I just love to scream things and answer for them.
Yeah, not good enough, but
I went for risks, Matt. What risks did you take?
Hey, no spoilers, but I think you both did great.
I risked losing one of my friends.
Number 2 already?
We're on 2, yeah, and I put Naruto in there.
Hey, let's go. Original Naruto over Shippuden, right?
Sorry, nah, the other way around.
Let's go!
Yeah, dude, Shippuden's
just better.
I mean, come on, bro. All the crazy shit that they can do at that point. like you need to watch Naruto to you know transition to Shippuden, and so like I would have never just dove straight into Shippuden like you probably can now, but like dude, the Susanoo's so sick, like yeah, there's just so many cool like when he tames the Nine Tails cloak, like come on bro, that's so much better than oh look I learned how to make a clone, you know.
Oh shit, sorry. The recording stopped like 2 minutes ago. My bad. Oh shit, we can just continue from here. I'm kidding.
Boo!
Okay. All right.
Yeah, boo.
Cut.
Dude, Bailey's just putting propaganda out here for.
Original Naruto is.
I mean, it's
just
your
a
show,
better
guys.
full
It's
story.
your show.
No, you know why I think that you think that original Naruto is better?
Why?
Because Shippuden's highs are much higher than original Naruto, but Shippuden's lows are much lower than original Naruto's. And so when you have like Shippuden that's like going up and down like this, whereas Naruto's more like
It's consistent.
this type of thing, you know.
Well, and you're gonna tell me that Chunin exam is not better than anything in Shippuden.
Yes.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna
yeah.
agree with
Chunin exams is better than anything in Shippuden, in my opinion.
No.
Yes.
That's just wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
That's
It's so
wrong. That's
First of all, if
100
I'm gonna pick something from Naruto, I'm gonna pick fucking when Zabuza's in there because it's my favorite. So
Original first arc of Naruto.
if
They
I
just
had to pick from that, but I have like 4 other picks from Shippuden that I would pick over that.
so number 2, Naruto the series for sure. That hey, at least it's on there. At least it's getting its recognition.
Pain
I
is
mean,
the best
I
thing
know
that
it's-
ever
it's
happened to
po-
Naruto.
I mean, it's popular,
Yes.
you know. Like
Pain
I
is
like I
great.
said, I have very basic tastes, so you guys are getting like the most basic of animes on this list.
No, it's perfect because
It
we're
doesn't
so
matter,
in
yeah.
depth with anime. So your basic taste, we have so much to say about. And
Yeah.
it works so well. I'm just saying, bro. Rock Lee
Naruto,
versus
the
Gaara
original
is the
series.
best fight in the whole series. I'm just saying.
Naruto,
You were
the-
just wrong.
No, I'm not.
It's
the amount of times that I have replayed the part in Shippuden where they resurrect the Hokages, innumerable amount of times. Like from that point on in the war, dude, I've watched that so many fucking times, dude. I just want to see Madara and Hashirama go ham.
I think that the only fight in Shippuden that could possibly be the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight is when Madara gets reanimated and he takes on the entire 4th company on his own. That is fucking mind-blowing.
I mean, that
love
action
But
seems
I know
goat.
that Matt is going to want to say Kakashi versus Obito because everybody says that
Kakashi versus Obito, Sasuke versus Itachi, like, you know.
Yeah, Sasuke versus Itachi.
yeah,
I mean, bro,
come
that
on.
one's
How
so
is that
you mean
not
the
in the
fight that
forefront,
he
bro?
didn't even
But-
win on his own? Okay, for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what a part of the fight that makes it so good is like Itachi's like he goes into it, he's like, I'm done, but I'm gonna make you work for it. So
Alright, well, I actually have very much enjoyed this part because I love arguing about the things that I'm passionate about. I will still stay on this hill. Get in the comments. Tell me, you know, who is right here. And if I see both of you in the comments being like, no, that guy is so rough.
I gotta use my alt for this. You know what? You know what? If you say, alright, if we have people that actually comment, tell us what your favorite Naruto or Naruto Shippuden fight is, because I want to know.
Yeah, I do too. And I want to know how right I am. Alright, so I always have to have the last word. Adrian
Your show, man.
doesn't like when mommy and daddy fight.
Our show.
It has become our show. It is Matt and I's show on my channel, but you know that's because
I abuse all, like in my Discord. I have the timeout button. I abuse it, man. You guys do what you want. All right, at number 1, and we've all seen this coming.
Monster Musume.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yo.
Nah.
Oh my god, you almost had me there. And also I forgot about One Piece until Matt just started saying about it. So I just got double whammied.
One Piece, number 1. 100% every time. There's no doubt in my mind. Not only am I invested because of the time that I've put in watching it, but also just the arcs, man. The Wano arc right now is like the height of like any anime, better than Naruto's final, Madara, all that shit. I think that the One Piece arc, that we're on right now at Wano, well, in the anime, like the cartoon anime, not the manga. I know we're further along in that area, but dude, the Kaido fights right now are just like the animation level went up so dramatically. I couldn't believe what I'm watching half the time. All the sound effects when they hit each other and all the, activating the hockey and all the colors and stuff. I just, man, that's so good.
So, do you recommend that Matt watch One Piece?
I mean, he has watched One Piece.
Yeah, but watch it.
If he can't get on with the Marineford arc, then I don't know what to say. I mean,
he doesn't remember half the shit anyways. Have him start over. Matt, start over and just watch it all, okay? You have 6 months until episode 2 of Attack on Titan comes out, okay? In that 6 months, you can just watch One Piece.
Just skip to the Wano arc, dude.
Yeah, dude, just jump in at Wano, fuck it, who cares?
Fuck it.
Yeah. Udon, just go to Udon prison, just start there.
Honestly, dude, just start on Onigashima.
Onigashima, yeah.
Onigashima, yeah. Just start there. Just when Luffy starts fucking shit up.
Great list. I like it. One Piece, I should have seen it coming, and we had talked about it, and I didn't know it, but right up until you said what your number one was, I forgot One Piece. Because I just thought, we've already covered it. And then you said Yu Yu Hakusho. I was like, holy shit. And then
the one thing I also like about One Piece right now is that I think in Crunchyroll they release new episodes like on Saturday nights or something. So, dude, it's like cartoons on weekends for me again. Like every time a new episode releases I see it in like 2 seconds. I'm so mad at myself because I'm like, I could save a couple and like have a nice afternoon. No, fuck it. I have to see it right when it comes out every single time, and I can't read what's online because they've been spoiling what happens next. And so I just prefer the anime. Like we said earlier, not a huge, just no experience with manga. I don't know, I would probably read it. I'm not gonna go out of way to buy it though, because I can consume it,
You can just read it online for free.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that we're condoning that, support the creators, but yeah, you can just read it online for free. I will say that what you mentioned, that is how I'm watching One Piece. I like to give like a month or 2 months of not watching it so I could sit down and watch like
a good chunk of it.
Yeah,
it's frustrating because it's like, how I mentioned I want to know what happens next. I want to know what happens next so bad every episode.
Yeah.
It like keeps me coming back. I'm like, please tell me what's like, did this guy win this fucking fight yet?
Yeah.
Like, tell me.
Oh my god, the Katakuri fight in the Whole Cake, I was like, dude, this is taking 8 episodes for one fight. It really took me back to Dragon Ball Z days. I was like, bro, this fight is taking forever.
Great fight. But in the manga, a chapter, right? It's like... Yeah, well, see, I like fight scenes a ton.
Yeah, you're into the visual, like... we didn't even ask, did you watch Demon Slayer?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so...
Also a great anime. There's not enough of it for me right now to really have an opinion for what I can find anywhere.
The rare occurrence of the anime being better than manga, just because the art in the manga is not very good. But the story is the same story, but the art in the manga is drawn by someone who is not the best of artists. But then you go into the complete opposite of Ufotable or Ufotable or whatever animating this show. It's just a polar opposite as far as artistic experience.
If I were going to compare the Demon Slayer movie on the train with the One Piece movie that just came out,
Red,
so good. Like, I think it's better than that. However, I recognize I could be very wrong about that.
For sure, super
biased. But like, I went with one of my buddies and we went and saw it right when it came out, and it was just like if you took any psychedelics for that, I think you'd have to leave because it's so visually stimulating.
Yeah.
Like I was only high and I could barely handle what was going on the screen, and I never have problems with that, like, ever.
Yeah.
It was insanely, like, colors everywhere, like full color spectrum stuff. There was some fun backstory.
That's why I couldn't go see Top Gun Maverick, because it would have just been too much.
But just like the One Piece movies do fill in some gaps about, like, you know, we saw her in the regular One Piece anime building up to that movie. And so I was like, oh, I want to know what happens to that chick. And then they reveal what happens to her in that movie. So the curiosity got me there too. That was a good way for them to build up to that.
Yeah.
And the Demon Slayer was a fucking heart wrencher, dude. Demon Slayer for me is like a tiny bit more on the heavy side.
What do you mean? What happened?
No, it's like more on the heavy side. Definitely more on the heavy side than one.
Nobody died.
What happened in the movie?
The fucking fire Hashirama. Shut up.
Hashirama? The fire Hashirama?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That shit
boy.
got me, man. When he died, it was.
He's in the afterlife with Ace, just being like, "Oh, look at this.
We got holes through us."
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
great top 5 list. So just to recap, so Inuyasha, Fairy Tail, Seven Deadly Sins are intermixed with each other for number 5. Then you had Hunter x Hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you had
The Dragon Ball series.
And then
followed by Naruto Shippuden, and and then One Piece.
So all shonens throughout the whole thing, which I.
Are they all shonen? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Basically,
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a shonen junkie, so
Yeah.
that adds up.
I'm all for it. I'm also super into the shonens. Cool. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for being here. This is fun. I typically don't get very argumentative because Matt is quite passive at times, and I am very understanding. So we typically are just like, I understand what you mean, but this was a lot of fun to tell you guys that I disagree so heavily with you.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'll be writing about this on my blog. Yeah, thank you.
It was a pleasure for me. I had a good time. It also made me think about, you know, just the depth of anime. I'll definitely go watch that basketball one. I have to give it a try. Like, someone told this to me the other day. They're like, they're a trisexual. They'll try anything. So, in regards to animes,
I like that.
There you go.
I like that.
in regards to animes, like, I'm always open to watching it. It's just I do get bored pretty quickly for some things, so I just have to be conscious of that when I'm watching it.
I'll throw this out there. Super low expectations for Kuroko no Basket, or Kuroko's Basketball in the English. It's all on Netflix.
Is Toriko also a shonen?
Toriko is it has shonen aspects, but I don't know if it was in Shonen Jump or not. I mean, they had the crossover episode with Goku, Luffy, and Toriko. There's a crossover episode between the three where they all try to go and get food and then eat it all together. So I believe it's shonen.
It was published in Weekly Shonen Jump. Yep.
Yeah, damn it, I can't.
And it is defined as a shonen. Yeah.
So, Food Wars, highly recommend. And then as far as long-running shonens, Black Clover. I mean, if you want to be hooked by action, you'll be hooked by the first episode. The first and the second episode.
Nice.
You'll be hooked.
I like that.
Yeah. It goes hard very quickly. And just keeps getting better and better.
I would point you towards Jujutsu Kaisen if you're looking for something a little shorter. And then something that
JoJo's.
I actually think is interesting. Yeah, JoJo's would be good too. Something that I actually told Bailey to watch, that a second season is coming out and is also very low commit right now, is Tokyo Revengers. But basically, like, I would call it a shonen, but it's about like a Japanese gang.
Yeah.
In like high school gang.
And
type
it's a battle anime in the most realistic sense. There's no powers. It's literally just gang members
I think I could
punching
get
and
into
kicking the
that.
shit out of each other.
Yeah, I like gangsta stuff, so that passes.
Highly recommend as well. That's a good inclusion. I didn't even think about that. That's also good. It's hard to think of the new stuff that I've been watching now because you don't have as much anime experience. So I'm just thinking of all the best things that I've already watched a while ago. Yeah. So JoJo's, Black Clover, those are things.
Did you guys count Miyazaki films in? Have you guys talked about those on the podcast?
I always told people you can include anime movies if you want. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, I feel like we already know. There are so many Miyazaki films that we could do a top 5 of Miyazaki films alone, separate from anime. So, but
right.
if you want to shout one out,
Do you have a particular favorite one?
I mean,
Mononoke.
I've only watched, I think, 3. Spirited Away. Shit, what's the one with the wolf in it?
Mononoke.
Yeah, and Howl's Moving Castle.
Sure.
So those are the only ones I've seen. But I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed all 3 of them. I thought they're great. So.
Did you have a favorite out of those 3?
Mononoke, probably. I like the wolves. I like the dogs.
Yeah. I was a Spirited Away first. It was also the first movie that I saw of Miyazaki, and I loved it. So
I mean, yeah, Spirited Away is just so iconic. It's for me. Just personal preference, I'd take that, but objectively, I would say it's probably the best one out of all of them. Maybe, I don't know.
Howl's is also really good. Totoro is really good.
Oh, I learned the music for Howl's Moving Castle, and then I watched it.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
Frank was super about So recently in violin, I've been going back into my favorite animes and trying to find music for solo violin, and it's been fun. It's been pretty fun. It's usually pretty easy.
Okay,
so
the problem with this podcast is that it's so hard to end because we can just keep going. But Violet Evergarden has very good violin aesthetic music that I think you should check. Even if you didn't watch the anime, just check out the soundtrack for Violet Evergarden. That fucking music is so good.
That's also a show where if you want to be a little more vulnerable with yourself, that's a good one to do it with. I'll say
also beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, for the Miyazaki stuff, Kiki's Delivery Service is probably my favorite. I really like that movie.
Witch Girl, right? I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably followed by Mononoke and then Howl's. So.
That's crazy because I think Kiki's, and I say this every single time, I like all Miyazaki films. I think they are all good movies. So when I say that one is the lowest out of all of them, I don't mean that it's bad and that I didn't like it. It's just compared to everything else. I think Kiki's Delivery Service might be the lowest for me, and then Mononoke. But I have just watched Ponyo recently, so the list got a little bit bigger. Howl's Moving Castle. No.
I mean, have you seen Nausicaa?
No, but that one I was gonna watch after Porco Rosso. I was gonna watch Porco Rosso and then Nausicaa.
You should watch Nausicaa. It's good.
All right, well, let's get out of here before we're here for way too long. If you start this video, you can see that Adrian's room was a lot brighter, and now we're at a point where it's darker. Yeah, fuck them all, tell them all, eat shit. All right. Anime Therapy Podcast, episode 19. Adrian, again, thank you so much for being here. West Side for sure. Matt, do you have any last words?
I was gonna say, speaking of Miyazaki stuff, look at that poster right here.
Nice.
It's all Miyazaki stuff.
So you're gonna get that tatted on your back, just a full back piece?
Dude, that'd be sick. Like, not gonna lie. Last words. All right. You guys ready for this one?
Yeah, right before the to be continued.
Watch Code Geass if you haven't. I'm gonna keep saying it every time. Watch it. And play Persona 5.
And World God Only Knows is amazing. Yeah, I guess that's it. Goodbye, everybody. Adios.
So is Bailey's mom.